Hello, everyone. Welcome to the nation's original National Veterans Day Parade. We come to you from Birmingham, Alabama, as we do every year from beautiful, beautiful weather in downtown Birmingham since 1947. I'm Karen Day. This is Matt Stevens, and we're your hosts for today's parade.
And we do actually have wonderful weather this year. And we are starting it off immediately. The Birmingham Police, we can just see them making the turn coming our way.
Yep, they always end up right here at City Hall. And the parade route this year is a little bit different. There's no good landmarks, but because of that, I want to talk to you about D-Day. It's the 80th anniversary of D-Day, and there's been a lot of talk about how to understand the importance of it.
Right. So D-Day, one of the most pinnacle battles of the Second World War. The 80th anniversary was this year, and this is the 80th anniversary of us invading Europe with the intention of freeing occupied Europe. So it is a very big holiday in Europe. There were a lot of celebrations in many different countries, and this is our way here in Birmingham to celebrate and honor those who have served before us, and particularly with an emphasis on the World War II veterans and the D-Day events this weekend.
What a way to start the parade. We've got the Birmingham Police Motorcycle Division showing their stuff like they never can on a normal day. Well, until they retired the last horse a few years ago, we also had a few of the Birmingham Mounted Police and the Veterans Day Parade every year. And you know what the name of the horse was that I met?
The horse?
Pistol.
Pistol
Yes.
the horse?
Yes, he was huge.
Well, we've got motorized horses nowadays, and they use them for a lot of things, ceremonial, traffic as well, but they've gotten really good at formation riding, and that's what we'll see here. And formations are going to be kind of the key of the day. It's a military parade, so we're going to see a lot of different types of formations, vehicle formations and people marching in formation. It should be a very, very fun day for a lot of that.
Looks like somebody dropped some flowers right there in the middle of the route.
Let's see if they do us.
Yeah.
Coming by the review stand now.
The Motorcycle Division. And these guys are now returning, some of them are returning to the route to help the parade at the intersections through downtown.
Yeah, you can see them coming through and doing some of their close order drill, if I guess they could call it that.
Yeah, I bet Jerome really thinks of it as close order drill. He's the one in the middle of the street with the gimbal.
Yeah.
So what we have is a tradition. It's at the beginning of every Veterans Day parade. We have the color guard that comes to stand before the viewing stand while the national anthem is sung. And this year we have the color guard from the Marion Military Institute, which is the nation's premier. It's the oldest military junior college in the nation.
Yeah, and we'll see some of their, I believe they have a drill team present as well today, so we'll see some more of Marion here in a little bit. But they are the color guard for this year's parade. And of course, a color guard is a presentation of all of the different service flags. So we have the American flag, we've got the Alabama state flag, and then you've got a flag for each branch of the military service, from Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Space Force, Coast Guard, and Air Force, all represented here.
There you go. And today we have the Trussville High School chorus. And I'm surprised. There were going to be 10 of them, but everybody cleared their calendars and they were all able to come. 24 of them singing a cappella, and they do it very well.
Yes, they do. Been practicing all morning.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight
It's the Trustful High School Chorus. And the Marion Military Institute Color Guard. Now, the rest of Marion Military Institute will definitely be along in just a little while. And right after the Color Guard, we have the family of Raymond Weeks. Now, Raymond Weeks is the fellow who came home from serving during World War II to Birmingham, and it occurred to him that there was only Armistice Day. There was not Veterans Day, and there had already been other conflicts, and there had been another World War, and he felt, let's call it Veterans Day instead of just Armistice Day.
And in 1947, he got together everything that you need and got Congress to officially declare that this is the nation's Veterans Day Parade.
That's right. And now we have Shades Valley High School Marine Corps, JROTC, Company Commander, Cadet Captain Brylan Tubbs.
We'll see a lot of ROTC groups here today, and that's the Junior Reserve Officer Training Cadets. So these are high school students, or they're going to an academy, but they don't necessarily have a desire to go directly into the military, but their schooling is taking place in a military fashion. So these recruits here are part of the Shades Valley Marine Corps JROTC. It's a Jefferson County Signature Leadership Academy, and this program consists of cadets from Shades Valley High School and also Clay Chalkville High School.
And this thing's not going.
Coming at you is Ramsey High School Army JROTC. Ramsey has to, personally, I say Ramsey has the best view of any of the 7 Birmingham high schools. They are an international baccalaureate school, and they have the Army JROTC today, including Color Guard and Drill Team. They're led by Colonel Gregory L. Parker and First Sergeant retired Hardwick Hall.
Super smart, dedicated students multitasking their way up the street to play for us today, and we are glad they're coming out for Veterans Day. This is an Army Reserve Officer Training Cadet Corps. So obviously, like I said, all the different services will have these various ways to become interested and start learning about military service while you're in a high school environment. So these they've joined that part for Ramsey.
And we're glad they've joined us for Veterans Day. Notice the eyes right. Birmingham's parade used to go the other way. Military are used to eyes left, isn't that correct?
Well, eyes right, eyes left, but the goal is that you want to make sure everybody in that formation, you know, you've got about 50 people there. They're all doing the exact same thing at the exact same time. And so when you come by a review stand, they'll give a command to eyes right or eyes left, and that's where you can see the precision in what they're training day in and day out, because they all do it at exactly the same time, and it looks like one simultaneous movement.
True. So this is the Ramsey High School Band, the blue pride of the South Side. Like I said, built in 1930, Ramsey has been a high school continuously through the growth of Birmingham, and it's now an international baccalaureate. It's one of 3 in our area. So these are super smart, super dedicated kids, and
hopefully they'll stop and do a performance here for us. Let's see.
Well, they also, they got a lot going on.
Yep.
They're multitasking their way down the street to play for us today.
They've got majorettes, and they've got their full complement today. That's a lot of precision movement, because not only are you playing an instrument, but you've got to play it at the same rate that everybody else is playing their instrument, and you've got to march at the same time that they're marching.
And Miss Iron City and Miss Iron City's team, they are here. And you say, now what is this? They are an actual preliminary to Miss Alabama, which leads directly to Miss America. So
we've got Jada Winston from Miss Iron City, attends the University of North Alabama, studying sports marketing management and public relations.
And
Jada's
Charlie
community
Reed.
service is coordinating resources to alleviate food insecurity.
And then, of course, there's Charlie Reed. She's the junior at Helena High School. She is Iron City's team.
Up next, we've got CSC Roofing. CSC Roofing has been instrumental for a number of years in the putting on and attendance of the Veterans Day Parade.
They're the lead sponsors.
The lead sponsor for several years. Support our veterans through employment opportunities and the Veterans Day support. And this is their float, and they've done a wonderful job with it. Mark Ryan is obviously he's the head of CSC Roofing.
And up next, of course, we have Birmingham's mayor, Randall Woodfin, decked out in a Birmingham Barons uniform. He's the 34th current mayor at the helm since 2017, and we're very glad to have him here with us today.
In his traditional style, always makes an appearance. You always know when he's here.
So is that a set of Longhorn horns?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's like a Cadillac Eldorado with the Longhorns on it, so done properly.
And he has of course, he has the retinue. And Sheila Tyson, she is the Jefferson County District 2 Commissioner. And
She's
Sheila,
also a veteran of the United States Army.
Yes.
Studied accounting at the U.S. Army Quartermaster School and took that experience and became an accountant in the private sector after leaving the military. Commissioner Tyson is a former president of the West End Community and the Birmingham Citizen Advisory Board.
And next we have Miss Alabama, Abby Stockard. She is a nursing student at Auburn University. So for many years, we have had Miss Alabama grace our parade, and today she is escorted by Marion Military Institute cadets Braden Birch and Landon Alton. There she is, Miss Alabama.
Being chauffeured around in a Vet for Vets vet. So that is a Vet for Vets Foundation Corvette. So, so there's a lot of Veterans Day going on there.
I saw a license tag the other day that said, I am a vet, and it was a vet.
Yeah, look, on the back of this one, it says Vets for Vets on the
Yes.
back of the vet.
Now, Miss Senior Alabama is in my kind of car. Yes. So we have Miss Senior Alabama and Miss Super Senior Alabama.
They are on hand to wish everyone a happy Veterans Day as well. We've got Sharon Landsey Pitts and Miss Super Senior Alabama, Sharon Hanna. These organizations encourage women who are 60 and over to provide a life of purpose by promoting volunteerism and support to other nonprofits. God bless America is their message to us today, riding in a classic Mercedes convertible.
Yes. And mine is honk that horn. Now we have
your favorite part, or one of your favorite parts.
I hate to call it the favorite part, but yes. The riderless horse is sponsored today. He's brought by Compassion Ranch. He's walking today with his cap walker from Arlington. The horse is Hank the Tank. He has retired as a military working equine of the old guard of the Army in Arlington, and he is one of the ones that pulled the caissons to carry the caskets, including Colin Powell's funeral. But that's his cap walker. He knows him.
Yes,
Came down just for the parade
served
today.
together.
Yeah. So right now we have
Then we've got the Winona High School Marching Band following up, Hank, under the direction of Frederick Jones.
JROTC. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The band had to skip. We're sorry, but the JROTC is with us right now, and they are one of the 7 Birmingham schools. And as Matt was saying, just because you're in JROTC doesn't mean that you go straight into the military, but it certainly prepares you for a life with the qualities that make for a good officer.
Yes, they're exposed to the style of leadership and the style of organization that's present in the military, and that helps them choose a career path leaving high school. And it doesn't necessarily mean going right into military service. You know, they could choose to be doctors, lawyers, or anything else. But they get that extra determination from being in an ROTC.
Delta Airlines has served Birmingham community for 95 years. We were almost the Delta hub
Wow.
We said no.
Oh, wow.
And they chose Atlanta.
Yeah, well,
Who knew?
Atlanta's pretty smart.
No, I don't know.
We salute those who have served the armed forces around the world and at home. Delta employs a number of veterans at home and around the world. They have a very, very robust veteran hiring community. So they thank us for our service, and we thank them for giving back to the community that way.
Yeah, a lot of the pilots flew other big tankers like KC-135s.
Yes, that's right. A lot of airline pilots come directly from military service.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose these are the Delta employees.
I would be surprised if they're not. Like I said, Delta has a lot of employees that are veterans in a lot of different roles, not just pilots, but from maintenance all the way up to their senior management. They have veterans at every level. So they do a lot to give back to our community.
Look what's going on. Delta employees honor the military. All gave some gave all. What is going on their little float?
They brought, they're handing out flags.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have quite a showing this year.
Yes. And up next, we have the support committee for the Alabama National Cemetery in Montevallo.
Right, and they exist to ensure that the sacrifices of our military veterans and their families are never forgotten. Their Wreaths Across America program, with over 2 million volunteers, place false wreaths every headstone at every national cemetery in America. This year's ceremony is held Saturday, December 14th, in preparation for the holidays.
Yeah, so it's called Wreaths Across America, and like I said, this is just one of the many, many, many national cemeteries. And you can participate. Just Google Wreaths Across America, and you can be part of this.
Yeah, and there are other ways that people can be interred or memorialized at a national cemetery, even if they're buried elsewhere, through the purchase of headstones. So there's a lot of ways that people can be included here.
And here's the Blue Star Salute with Tom Long, president. They are... Some people like to tell us they're an Alabama-based 501c3, but you don't want to know about that. You want to know that their mission is to honor our active duty military, veterans, fallen heroes, in addition to fundraising for the Veterans Assistance Fund and Wreaths Across America. They partner with the Governor's Office and Alabama Department of Veterans Affairs to help. And I know that Matt has more to say about them.
Yeah, so Blue Star families, they do a lot of different things because, it's a very, very large community. So you have your VFW and your American Legion and your Disabled American Veteran, these programs that have been around for a long time, but a lot of the people that are actually supporting them are Blue Star families.
True.
So,
and here's the Birmingham Vet Center. They are a community-based counseling center. They provide many different kinds of social and psychological counseling for individuals, their families, the families of the people. Perhaps you have PTSD or you've had some sort of traumatic experience. It's difficult to adjust to civilian life. They're here to help.
And they do just a tremendous number of things, from individual therapy to marriage counseling, group therapy. They really do try to have an answer for everything when it comes particularly to veterans' mental health at the Vet Center.
And this is the actual Birmingham VA healthcare system. And we have to give a massive shout out to you guys, because today we are being aired in all of the VA hospitals in north central Alabama. Anybody in a room can push a button and they're able to watch today's parade.
Yes,
so
we're very thankful to the Birmingham VA healthcare system for that. They've been proudly serving veterans since 1953, right down the street from us in Southside. This flagship facility provides care to over 71,000 veterans across 24 counties throughout the state. Birmingham VA is dedicated to honoring our nation's heroes. The health and well-being of our veterans is their absolute top priority.
So they are wound up tight. So next we have retired clergy. Now, excuse me, I'm sorry. We are still celebrating VA.
But we do have this year some clergy members with us, and these are clergy members from around the Birmingham area whose congregations have largely veteran communities. They're in the parade today to honor the multitude of services and sacrifices of their congregations over the years.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name. The lady who spoke to me on the phone about the retired clergy is that there are a number of churches here where so many, like majority of their congregation are veterans or spouses of veterans.
Right,
And they wanted to roll out today and say hi. So
We've got the
Yes.
Disabled American Veterans of Alabama, National Senior Vice Commander Coleman Nee. The Disabled American Veterans are keeping their promise to Americans veteran. They're dedicated to a single purpose, empowering veterans to lead high-quality lives with respect and dignity. Obviously, there is a disabled American to that. So yes, this is a service organization that focuses more specifically on the delicate nature of having a disability. And they brought some people along with us. They have their Veteran of the Year. And then also their department commander, Rick Stedman.
Anita Perez is the retired Army Operation Iraqi Freedom Veteran Commander of DAV Chapter 13 in Alexander City and a line officer for the DAV Department of Alabama. And she is somewhere in this little
They've got
crowd.
a lot of people coming through. A lot of their officers. We got their national
Yes.
commander, the state commander, and the state adjutant for the DAV auxiliary. So a lot of service organizations will also have an auxiliary. And you know, the goal there is, well, if you're, for example, myself, I'm a post commander for Veterans of Foreign War. But my wife did not serve in a foreign war, so how can she help out? You have auxiliary groups, and you see here a lot of the auxiliary for the disabled American veterans participating in that support role to that service organization.
And everybody has a spot.
And we definitely want to mention this year, along with the Red Cross, they have a long-standing tradition of providing our military members and their families vital services such as emergency communication and financial assistance. This year, they specifically wanted to recognize Shift, a key partner in their community. Shift has generously donated new emergency response vehicles to the Red Cross, enhancing their ability to respond swiftly to disasters and provide essential services in need. So we see a vehicle that has been donated by Shift to the Red Cross here in Central Alabama. Hats off to Ship from the Red Cross.
They started right here, right downtown.
The Alabama School for the Blind.
This is the marching drumline of the Alabama School for the Blind from Talladega, Alabama. We love them. These students have represented the Alabama Institute for the Deaf and Blind across the state, across the country. Their most recent trip was Boston, Massachusetts this past spring. And people, when it rains, they don't care. When it's cold, they don't care. If they're on a truck, if they're walking, this is the band that is here every single year. And that impresses the heck out of me.
Yes, rain or shine, they are absolutely here, and they play every single year, and they play well.
Yeah.
So this is the Vet Dirty Tactical Operations Center.
It sounds dirty. It's a different kind of dirty. It's disaster relief team.
Yeah, it's
Incorporated.
an all-veteran disaster relief search and rescue team that is never still. They know how to have a good time in the meantime. They are very active on Facebook. This is a group that will load that bus up, and I would be surprised if they weren't involved with the Hurricane Helene efforts in Tennessee. I know in the past I've asked them to reach out to service members that I served with who were affected by a tornado, and they've gone. So they will go and they will do, and it's great to have them in our parade. And now we're going to see the Dixie Division of Military Vehicles. So there'll be some military vehicles in our parade, and some of these are going to be indicative of what you might have seen in D-Day, including this vehicle. This is just a standard World War II Jeep with a 30 cal machine gun, or maybe, no, that's a 50 cal machine gun on the top of it. The gentleman behind them is dressed as a paratrooper or a ranger from that time frame. So the Dixie Division is dedicated to the preservation, restoration, and display of historic military vehicles, to educate people of the history and honor our veterans who drove them. This club was started in 1999, and the name Dixie Division honors the 31st Infantry Division of World War II fame. The club is an affiliate of the National Organization of the Military Vehicle Preservation Association.
That's a big old mouthful, but they want you to see what it was like.
Yes, and not just way back then. Here's a Humvee. So this is what you would have ridden in Iraq, obviously with some modifications, but they're collecting now vehicles from all of our military history to make sure that they'll all are being included.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. This is Marion Military Institute, Alabama's Military College of Leadership Development.
Probably all of it, actually.
Well, yeah. And they were established in 1842. They are the oldest military junior college in the nation. That's the superlative. So
the MMI's programs include a service academy program that prepares students to enter all 5 service academies. They have an early commissioning program, a civilian leadership education program, and they've added newer programs for aviation, first responders, and other athletic teams. But let's just sit back and let them play for a little bit.
absolutely. It's one of my favorite shots of the whole parade.
Yes, and that's why we try not to talk through it, because I know you love this part so much.
No.
Their close
No.
order drill is always so good.
Can't do it, Jerome. He can't fit. He's going to have to get out of the way. But the Corvettes, he can definitely get between the Corvettes when they're on the way down the street. Matt, look at here.
Amongst some of the other things that the Corps of Cadets do, they have companies that are distinguished by their flags. So they have a headquarters company, a color guard company, band company, a Corps of Cadets, and various other events around the state in which they participate. Over 200 generals and admirals are graduates of MMI, along with countless leaders in government and private industry. MMI graduates intellectual leadership, character, and physical development.
I wasn't paying attention. Did you tell them that they also judge high school drill competitions throughout the state?
They have also participated in various events like the Indianapolis 500, Sugar Bowl, and the Air Force Academy drill competition.
And this is the drill. They're going to stop. I'm almost positive they're going to stop up here on the shield on the street.
Yes, and they're going to do what's called close order silent drill, if I remember correctly. I think they do a silent drill.
Did you do that?
No, I was never that good. Never. I know. We call it popping sticks. So you'll hear them clicking and clacking if they decide to stop for us.
Which they do. You think they're done, but they're not.
And some people question why do that? You know, why throw rifles in the air and things like that? But when you go back to the heart of what you're actually doing in the military, you need to have a familiarization with your primary weapon system, and that's actually what it all tracks back to. Is the more comfortable that you are with that weapon, then the more comfortable you are when you need to use it. So the close order drill helps out with that tremendously. It gets them familiar with manipulating that weapon around their system.
Anybody taking piano who has the hand-in exercises understands close drill.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so Summit Media. They have several radio stations here in the Birmingham area, but they also have a veteran, Julian Paul. He served in the Army for 8.5 years and completed 3 combat tours. And we're glad to have him here in
Summit
Birmingham.
Media actually has several. They do KISS FM, Jams FM, Heaven 610, WZZK, and The Eagle. So they have several different radio stations around Birmingham and contribute.
they helped promote the parade today. We're grateful for that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And they're being followed up by the 3 Hots and a Cots. 3 Hots and a Cots was established in 2009 by veterans for veterans. They're a local nonprofit organization whose purpose is to help every veteran find a way home. From the shelter's humble beginnings, it's gone on to feed and house veterans from every era dating back to World War II. Of the 46,000 veteran charities in the United States, former President George W. Bush chose 3 Hots in the Cot as one of the 25 most successful.
You hear that? And it started right here.
Yeah. Transition services is what they're about, right? So you transition out of the military, you want to transition into a successful civilian career, but that's not always the easiest. And so sometimes when veterans fall on more difficult times, organizations like this are right there to step in and give an extra helping hand.
And it's needed a lot more than people realize. But y'all, here is the Howlin' Mad Smith detachment of the Marine Corps League. Now, there are 16 Marine Corps League detachments in Alabama, but there's only one Howlin' Mad every year. They're active, they're veteran, they join together. They want to preserve the interests and traditions of the Marine Corps, the ideals of American freedom and democracy. They voluntarily aid and render assistance to all Marines and anybody, and also the Fleet Marine Corpsmen. And they meet on the third Saturday of every month. So, not meant to be a PSA, but if you want to be a member of some sort of veteran organization, they're meeting once a month all over the place.
Absolutely.
Find
Almost
your
every
spot.
day of the week there is a veteran service organization near you that probably wants to help you in his meeting.
Parker High School, JROTC. Special thanks to Principal Mr. Daryl Hudson
They
and
were the
Superintendent
first
Mark
high school.
Sullivan.
They were the first high school in Birmingham, built in 1900. Parker High School JROTC program is under the leadership of Battalion Commander Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Sharita Kennedy and Executive Officer Cadet Major Devontae Shaw. Great organization is under the direction of instructors Master Sergeant Kareem Gary and Sergeant First Class William Jackson. These Parker High School cadets strive to develop ultimate leadership skills and community service. And they're followed up immediately by the Huffman High School
And the same
ROTC.
thing is happening over at Huffman.
And that's exactly true. And it's good to see this many ROTC cadet programs participating because, you know, this is a key event for them. This is a way for them to show off all of this training and close order drill that they've been practicing on day in and day out over the year. Looks like they're going to do a little performance for us.
Yeah. Here we have the National Association, the Buffalo Soldiers. They were founded in Chicago by a retired Chicago police officer, and they ride their iron horses to represent the actual horses of the Buffalo Soldiers back in the post-Civil War era. So they're
over 120 chapters throughout the United States and abroad. They support senior citizen homes, student scholarships, and food fund drives, and charitable organizations, mentoring area youth in construction and conducting educational programs about the original Buffalo Soldiers.
A lot of times, people growing up want very much to do something right away where they feel like they are personally making a big, notable impact right away. But the difference is not always made by one person in front of everybody. It's made by many people, and a lot of it goes uncelebrated. It's just, you know you did it.
And when you have, that's what it takes. It takes more than one. And so when you see a group like this that can get together and, you know, when you can organize 30 people, particularly on motorcycles, but if you've got 30 of your friends that all have the same interests and can go somewhere on a weekend, that's a pretty big deal. So when you're able to organize like this, it looks like a bunch of people riding motorcycles or a bunch of people walking and waving, but you know, these are groups that are meeting together regularly with the intent of helping the veteran community.
Yes. So now we move on to the Daughters of the American Revolution. There are several chapters. Each one has individual interests that they support and pursue. But overall, the mission
of the National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution is to support, educate, promote historic preservation, and to promote patriotism. The NSDAR was founded in 1890 and has almost 200,000 members nationwide. The Cahaba chapter was founded in Birmingham in 1945 as a working women's chapter.
A working women after World War II.
Right.
Yeah, it was still the men were coming home, and the women were like, well, hi. So that was their chapter.
And then along, we also have the Daughters of the American Revolution. This is the Princess Sehoy chapter. The DAR was founded in 1890, headquartered in Washington, D.C., and is a nonprofit, non-political volunteer women's service organization dedicated to promoting patriotism, preserving American history, and securing America's future through better education for children.
And everybody's, like we say, everybody's going to focus on a little different areas, but it's all the same main story. And so along with the daughters, we also have the sons
of the American Revolution.
And these are people who are, to be in the group, you have lineage that takes you all the way back to someone who fought in the Revolutionary War.
Your family members, there's a direct line on paper that we can draw back to the American Revolution or the events surrounding.
And they also promote patriotism, preserving American history, and promoting education to our future generations. So the story doesn't necessarily change as time goes on.
But some of the cars are a little cooler than others, so this is a Sons of the American Revolution car.
Oh, boy, that looks like a character.
Yeah.
Don't step in front of that.
Still ringing the bell.
If you know, there are lots of people who have family lineage back to the Revolution.
Right.
If you are interested in becoming a member, you can find a chapter and contact a member, and they can tell you what to do.
It's also part of keeping your own family's history alive, especially if you become, if you learn that part, then that's something to definitely keep alive.
Right. And now we have somebody who also are in the parade every year, no matter how many or few of them are in town. It's the 117th Air Refueling Wing. And last year, I think we had 700 marching.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember there were a lot last year. Well, they're deployed at the moment, so that's something that we learned
So we got
morning.
about 75 today.
Right. So they provide quality worldwide air refueling, airlift support, logistics, intelligence, and medical services and support in our community, state, and nation. And a lot of people see these, you drive down the interstate, you see a airport, you see a couple of Air Force or Army or military-looking planes, and why are they there? What are they doing? And then you find out it's an air refueling wing. What does that mean? What do they do? Well, if you need to get someone somewhere quickly, put them on a plane. And if you don't want that plane to stop, put more gas in it while it's in the air. So what they're doing is allowing an extension of whatever service that needs to be taken from America overseas. They're allowing that to happen much quicker, or allowing people to stay in a combat area much longer through refueling.
Right. Perhaps they can't refuel on the ground because they are dropping in to drop cargo and get the heck out.
Yep.
They refuel in the air. My dad was a navigator for KC-135s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So after that, we also have Southern Preparatory Academy. Now, many of you know them as Lyman Ward. They are Southern Preparatory Academy from Camp Hill. They were founded in 1898, and they remain a JROTC honor unit of distinction. So they're
the academy is focused on college preparation and has added programs to include drone certification, private pilot training, a flight simulator, and welding. Go Rangers.
And what Matt's saying, there are a lot of things that prepare you for various specialties that don't necessarily go into the military. It's just the values.
Yeah.
Excellence, patriotism.
There's patriotism taught, but it's also the discipline of completing a task in a certain way that they're set up in a military system.
Right. And hello to Woodlawn High School, JROTC. Their program has about 150 cadets, 40 of which are marching in the parade today.
And they are led by Chief Warrant Officer 3rd Class retired Dwight Swindle and Sergeant 1st Class retired Tamala Truss.
Tell us about the Purple Heart.
So the Purple Heart is an award, if you will, but it is awarded to individuals who were injured in combat. So these are people that, were succumbed to a gunshot, or in the case of Iraq or Afghanistan, there was an explosion, but they suffered a traumatic injury while in seas, while in a combat zone. And the Military Order of the Purple Heart is one of the biggest groups to support that specific subsect of veterans, those who have been awarded.
Lakeshore Foundation is here in Birmingham.
And they work a lot with Purple Heart recipients because the Purple Heart recipients...
Have you heard of Lima Foxtrot?
I have.
Yeah.
The Purple Heart recipients end up at a program at Lakeshore called Lima Foxtrot, which helps improve the physical activity for Alabama veterans through comprehensive membership, scholarships for area veterans, and their household family members.
The Magic City Chevys. It's a Birmingham Car and Truck Club, and all their vehicles are?
Chevrolet.
Yep. So they have several military veterans today, and they're in the right place on both counts. Car Club, a sunny day, and veterans.
Yep. And that's what you'll see is a lot of veterans, even once they get out of the military, because of that sense of brotherhood or sisterhood that they had when they were in their military unit, their instant response to becoming a civilian is finding those connections with other friends and starting groups. And if you find out that we all drive the same car, well, all right, let's all go somewhere on the same day, and now we're a group, and now we can go and volunteer in the same way. So that's how a lot of groups get started.
So we have Jackson Olin High School, JROTC.
Under the leadership of First Sergeant Retired Andrew Jones and Sergeant First Class Tamara Jones. And they will do a presentation for us as well. The proud cadets of the PD Jackson ROTC these young men and women exemplify discipline, leadership, and a commitment to service.
Briarwood Christian School Band.
Drum major Isabella Rutledge, Superintendent Mr. Gary Martin, and then the head of the upper school, Mr. Bo Morrissey.
Briarwood exists to provide a Christ-centered transformational education that equips and inspires each student to glorify God by maximizing their God-given abilities. They have something else. They have a very large school number of students, so they have a fantastic band. They have resources to blow those horns and bang those drums and march in the parades, and they are here almost as regularly as the Alabama School of Deaf and Blind.
Yeah, and they look forward to representing our community in the 2025 New York St. Patrick's Day Parade as well.
That's this march. It's going to be good.
See if maybe we get a performance.
I'm tired of saying that. A lot of times we have to
it is
plan
very
for the
warm
rainy
out
day
here
that
today.
doesn't happen. Yeah.
Those of you who have been with us for several years will recognize that for some reason it's not raining, and so it's warm out there for these kids, and they're in big, thick uniforms and doing their absolute best.
Now we get the horses. This is Sherritt Farm.
Family owned and operated since 1999. There are 4 generations now working the farm, and they've been serving their community by offering their farm to share the love of animals in a place where no one judges you, where you can build trust, loyalty, and work ethics, and just enjoy the outdoors. I know you know a lot about them as well.
That's pretty much it. That they want it, whatever interest it is that you have, they want you there because they can take people who are interested in just petting a horse's nose to somebody who's been trying to learn how to walk again, because the horse's gait actually can take somebody and remind their body they walk the same way we do.
Interesting.
With
See,
the
this is what I
alternating.
knew you knew a lot more about horses than you were leading on, but there's a lot between horse-based or equine therapy, right? There's a lot of different connections there, not just the actual rhythm of the horse.
Well, they're big and strong and sweet and calm, and as long as you don't hold the apple with your fingers, they won't take them off your hand when they take the apple.
So it's calming for those that are in distress.
Yeah. So we have Caracello breeds. Now, well, first I'd like to say their 2020 shout out was fantastic. During COVID, we had everybody doing shout outs for the parade. They've been in business for 40 years. They love horses. They support veterans. Ms. Libby Shackelford, her husband Larry, and several other people in her family were veterans. And they have a PTSD program at the farm. They do shoe boxes for the deployed troops. And through their Shelby County 4-H program, they actually have an American flag that was flown at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad.
Oh, wow. Me too.
What?
Well, I mean, I went to the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad.
Did you really?
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff from there. I went twice, actually. So
I'm proud of the horses for, oh, here's one that's having an issue with the shield.
they've actually been very respectful of the shield. So the horses don't want to step on the shield. That's just a respect
They think it's
thing.
a hole.
Oh.
I
was giving him credit.
Well, it is respect, I suppose, of a kind. Caution, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, look, here's one who wants to try it again.
Oh, he knows what he's doing.
What did he ride that one that just went in front of the camera? What is he doing?
Rounding up the rest of them, it looks like.
He's like, chop, chop, come on. So the Alabama Army National Guard is a component of both the U.S. Army and the U.S. National Guard. So the Alabama Army National Guard units are trained and equipped as part of the U.S. Army, and they serve both our community, like in problems, hurricanes, etc.
Yep.
And then they serve our country.
Yeah,
as
so it's
needed.
kind of like a state first, federal second, right? So under the Alabama National Guard, the governor directs where they go and what they do and why. But if the Army itself, the federal Army, needs resources or needs additional resources, then they can choose to activate a National Guard unit. And that's why you see a lot of times National Guard units are deployed around the world, and you're going, well, what about the active Army? Well, yeah, they needed an additional,
more.
sometimes specialty unit that happens to be a National Guard.
Right. And it's hard to explain that.
Right.
And not every state is that way.
Not
But
every
we
state
are.
is that way.
And
but,
that's why we have the base out at the Birmingham airport for them. All right, so we have veterans of foreign wars. Eric Dudash and Phantom, Department Commander Steffi Moore, Auxiliary President. The VFW traces its roots. I'm jumping ahead, aren't I?
Well, I don't see
I'm
Eric
so
or Phantom
sorry.
yet, but they should be coming up here pretty soon. Well, that's his
I
truck
got
right
excited.
there. There
Yeah,
you go.
there
There's
they are.
Eric. Eric's in
All
there
respect
somewhere.
to the Air National Guard. Okay. All right.
But you were right. The VFW does trace its roots back to 1899 when veterans of the Spanish-American War and the Philippine Insurrection founded local organizations to secure rights and benefits for their service.
Which is vital.
Yes.
They did not used to, it wasn't considered a job with benefits back in the day. They actually had to stand up and say, please don't make us give up our entire lives and our families and our property to do this. Give us support.
And they represent a specific subsect of the veteran community because veterans of foreign war obviously means that they have served in a combat zone. So these are veterans that specifically have served in a combat zone. And they do have a different set of challenges as a result. And so that's why you see them coming together in forming groups and trying to stay connected to that specific community because combat is a very difficult thing for even combat veterans to understand. So, trying to get those people connected with more of their own helps them in their everyday life.
Yeah, it says annually the VFW and its auxiliaries and more than 2 million members contribute more than 8.6 million hours of volunteerism.
For example, this is the Lance Corporal Thomas Rebels Memorial Post 12185 in Alabaster, Alabama.
And who's in charge of that one?
Well, I am actually the post commander of that organization.
You are?
We do a tremendous amount in the Shelby County area to help out and
They
make
just
sure
saw
that
you.
sorry. I apologize to those of you watching. So most of the people on that barge do know me.
That was awesome.
So yes, and there are several VFW posts around
Kelly
Central
Lincoln.
Alabama. They're again set up to help out veterans specific to foreign wars.
Right.
And
we
followed
have-
right back up by the Tarrant High School Band under the direction of Tiana Douglas Cargill. Tarrant High School Blue Regiment Marching Band is under the direction of Miss Cargill, and the drum major is Deandra Woogett. They are sponsored today by the American Legion.
Girl Scout cookies for sale.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Girl Scouts of North Central Alabama's mission is to create girls of courage, confidence, and character. And they spend time serving their communities and developing into little leaders of the future, and I was one.
And we see the Girl Scouts here today being led by U.S. Army veteran Karen Petterlin.
Another Karen. See, we're nice.
There's plenty
We're
of
good.
nice Karens. No
Yes.
one said anything about
Don't
a bad
listen
Karen.
to me. You wait.
Boy
Your
Scouts
turn
as
will
well.
come. Cub Scout Packs 393 from Hoover.
Out of
Yes, these are
Hoover.
the Boy Scouts of Central
Or
Alabama.
Scouting of America, I think they're now called.
Yes.
Thank y'all for developing young people's character.
Much like when you get to the upper levels in your high school and you have the ability to join an ROTC to learn that the fundamentals of leadership amongst a team and how to work and organize on a more strategic level. At the kid level, you have scouting, and scouting is kind of an introduction to the merit system of, you know, here is something that you want to obtain, here is a path on how to obtain it, and here's a award that is presented as a result. And at the middle school and elementary school level, that really helps young boys and girls develop that organizational sense that they need to be more successful later in life. So these are great programs throughout the state and throughout the country, really, that encourage children to enjoy being a child, but also, you know, go out and seek goals, become interested in something, and become proficient in it.
You're saying that, but a lot of guys step out of scouting right when it gets good. When you start doing survival training.
Oh, and Eagle Scout programs,
Yeah.
Eagle Scout accreditation is
My whole family
yeah.
are Eagle Scouts, and my brother uses it all the time in the Air Force, and he is excellent at getting out of the woods fast.
Oh, yeah.
Getting back to post before anybody else. He's good at it. All the knots, lots of knots. You can use those on April Fool's Day all year, and all year long.
If nothing else, you're going to learn a number of tremendously useful knots.
And again, you have friends for life. Absolute.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's how you, because you're going to school, you know, in elementary school with a lot of these people.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
Followed
goodness.
up by the other Jeeps that we'll see today, Jeep Wranglers. So during World War II, we had Jeeps like we saw earlier. After World War II, everybody wanted one. So they started selling them to civilians. And much like the muscle car culture that Americans have for, you know, Corvettes and Camaros, there's a large population of the United States that loves the ideas of freedom that come with owning a Jeep, when you can track that lineage back and go, well, you know, this is kind of the vehicle that would have been used in World War II, but it's also been personalized to what they like. And you'll see a lot of that here. But not saying that everybody here is a veteran or that they all bought a Jeep because they think it's cool because Jeeps were in World War II. But there's a definite connection there between that brand and the ideals of freedom and democracy and things like that. Iron City Wranglers is a Birmingham Jeep group made up of current and veteran military and law enforcement, firefighters and EMT, nurses, and other local patriots who share the same love of their family and community. Whether it's turning out for a parade, conducting a fundraiser, escorting a fallen hero, no matter their final resting place, the Jeep group is always ready to serve. And there are a tremendous number of them.
They're still coming. Purple rain.
And you can kind of tell a lot of these have got some sort of, you know, sticker or flag or something that denotes that they served as well. Very popular, I guess, vehicle choice.
And the names of who they love who are gone. These are still Iron City Wranglers.
Yes, they are. Jeeps are
is
a huge
nuts.
thing. A lot the military runs on Jeeps. They just call them different things now, but it's all still a basic military vehicle. These are not. These are the civilian versions. But
Do you know what? I think they hedged their bet. I think there were supposed to be about 15 in this group today, and have there been 40? Everybody turned out when the sun came out.
Yeah.
That's the ticket. It rained, then it was sunny, then it was humid, and now it's a perfect fall day, and everybody's out to ride their Jeeps in the parade.
Finally got a weather break for our Veterans Day parade. One of the things that we were mentioning earlier is that this is the 80th anniversary of D-Day, and where we're at in history now, we only have about 120,000 World War II veterans still with us. And that represents a great issue because we need their stories to be told. And there are a lot of ways to get their stories told. So if you're listening or watching and you know a veteran, particularly if they're a little on in their years, find a way to talk to them. Find a way to engage. There are so many different ways. Just talking to them as a member of your own family, having them reach out to a support group, like a service organization, or like you see here, if they've got a Jeep, hey, did you know that there are other people in town that have a Jeep and like to get together and do things? But getting those veterans involved, regardless of their age, is an excellent way to get them to open up about their stories. And specific to our World War II generation, that is something that we do not have a tremendous amount of time remaining to accomplish that task. So
what do you do when they don't want to talk about it, but you want to know the things that they wish you did? How do you get them talking?
The easiest thing that I can say there is if you know the person well enough, then you can have an honest conversation. Hey, I want to know about certain things that you did. I don't need to know all of the detail, but yours is a story that needs to continue on. And the only way that we can continue that story is if we get it documented.
Find out what they're proudest of during their service?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be, I went to Vietnam and I did this, that, and this, that, and this, that in Vietnam. Well, you also did 12 years at an Air Force base in Utah. Ask them about that, So you don't have to go right for the, what's the worst part about being a veteran? You can just ask them, hey, what was it like to eat in the woods? Or what was it like to fly on helicopters all the time? And
what do you think that people your age are missing that aren't you?
So
that kind of thing.
Well, it's a difficult thing because right now we've got Vietnam veterans, and when the Vietnam veterans are passing us, but when this is chapter 416, so membership is open to all U.S. veterans who served on active duty in the Republic of Vietnam. Well, when they came home, they did not have a tremendously wonderful experience. There were not parades recognizing Vietnam veterans specifically. So, it's when going back to talking about how to get them to open up. It's just asking them simple questions. What did you like? What did you not like? And that can be the start of a much bigger narrative.
Some veterans buy Corvettes.
Yes, they do.
Team Corvette Alabama is a longtime Corvette club that is about showing their Corvettes. They love racing. They like taking trips as a club and all things patriotic to America. So happy Veterans Day from Team Corvette.
I mean, it makes sense, like we were talking about with the Jeeps. If you don't want to go off-roading and do Jeep stuff, then you're going to buy one of those and do exactly what he just did, make loud noises. So, and it's a very popular choice once you get out of the military because you didn't have any money when you were in the military, and now you do. So
I'm not supposed to laugh.
Yeah, well, they got Corvettes. They're fine. Look at them.
True. What is that?
That is a Corvette.
What year?
Newer.
I guess.
The newer they get, the more they start to look like the supercars of Europe, see?
Okay.
Like that, literally the same car, both Corvettes, but.
I'm glad Jerome wore his comfy shoes today. I'm trying to think what's happening at the other end that would cause the traffic jam.
Well, usually, don't they like to give themselves some space? Oh, no, it's just a million Jeeps.
Oh, the Jeeps.
Yep.
They're Jeeps.
Usually
they can climb over anything. Why are they jamming the street?
So they can, Corvettes will rev some motors back.
Well, we haven't made the parade take a side street, but we have brought it to a stop.
That happens every once in a while.
Yeah. My goodness.
But this is, like we said, a lot of these people, I think it's safe to say that most of the people in those vehicles are veterans, right? That's why you drive to Veterans Day. And again, that's all about the sense of community. The one that's right over the logo, you can see an Army logo.
Many of them are, but not all. Team Corvette is many, but not all.
Right, but that's going back to what you're talking about,
Yeah.
having people open up and share their stories. If you get them involved with something that they're interested in, you know, so if you know a veteran that's got a car and it's a specific type of car, hey, you know, did you know that there's a car club for that kind of car? You just want to ask them, you know, find something that they can actually relate back to that's an interest for them.
We have a drone today. It's not ours. I wonder who's watching us from about 5 stories up. And the Corvettes keep coming. That one forgot his hood.
The Supreme Emblem Club of the United States of America and Alabama State Association of Emblem Clubs.
That is a mouthful, but these ladies are Elks ladies. They were wrapping bandages back for World War I.
Okay.
Ladies would sit around in circles and wrap the bandages to send over back when they weren't just manufactured and shipped
Gotcha.
in bulk.
Yeah, and they had to be done.
And they wanted to do more, and they still, to this day, their purpose remains to assist veterans and participate in other community charities, and they call themselves an emblem club. And there's the national, and there's the state, and there's the state organization of all the little ones, but everybody started out wrapping bandages.
Oh, wow.
So,
And they're followed up by Jewish War Veteran Post 608, with Robert Rustein as the commander of that post. Jewish War Veterans of the United States of America is an American Jewish veterans organization established in 1896 by Civil War veterans to demonstrate that Jews have proudly served this country since the Revolutionary War.
and it's true.
Writing in style as well.
Guess what? More Corvettes. This is the Mid-Alabama Corvette Club. They are sponsors of and supporters of Magic Moments. Through many avenues, such as car shows, donations, miscellaneous gifts, they have donated $30,000, to Magic
Oh, wow.
Moments, which of course is a most worthy cause. But today, their focus is on our military veterans as they add their gorgeous muscle cars to the original Veterans Day Parade right here in Birmingham.
And you can see a lot of them have a sticker on the door in honor of, or, you know, I am a military veteran. So, very good for them. Their president and parade organizer is Larry Linney, who's a Master Sergeant, Air Force retired.
Man.
I'm going to go with they were in the Air Force.
Oh, there's streamers around.
Yes, they were in the Air
rings.
Force.
I can't even comment without being not nice. Not correct. Not correct.
There is
It's
no
like, that
correct.
does not look like someone who would have been in the Air Force. I know Air Force.
Korean War veteran.
Okay.
Yeah.
And people take the chance to run across the street.
Coming up next, we've got the Colonel Robert L. Howard State Veterans Home.
First, before that, let's do Pleasant Grove High School.
You can, sure.
Okay. Well, okay.
If the parade dictates.
It does. Looking for them.
Pleasant Grove High School Spartan Battalion.
Pleasant Grove High School, the Spartans Battalion Leadership Academy. The Leadership Signature Academy.
The Spartan Battalion is a special, they call it a leadership academy, and it includes 4 of the high schools in the area of Pleasant Grove, Fairfield. I'm trying to remember the other 2, but what they do is focus on STEAM, on the STEM.
Yeah,
Yeah,
their
you go.
JROTC program helps high school students develop leadership skills, self-discipline, and teamwork. Specific to the academies that you're talking about, Pleasant Grove High School, McAdory High School, Hueytown High School, and Oak Grove High School. Their motto is choosing to fail should never be an option.
And they allow, in the JROTC programs, they are able to focus on specific areas to study.
Now doing a circle in front of us, we got the Eagle Wings Motorcycle Association. Their Alabama District Director, Danny Baker. The Eagle Wings Motorcycle Association has 7 chapters in Alabama with over 300 members riding all makes and motorcycles and trikes. All their events are 2-, 3-, or 4-wheel events. A simple, fun riding social association.
No. These are the sheriffs. These are the Jefferson County Sheriff's Motorcycle Division.
Oh, okay.
Showing off. Sorry. I think they might have stepped in.
They
They
jumped
did.
the gun, huh?
Yes, they did. I've never seen so many in one spot. And there's Jefferson County Sheriff supporting the Brenda's Brown Bosom Buddies. Okay, Robert L. Howard's home, the state home in Pell City. Every year they come from Pell City. They always ride in the big truck, and we are so glad to see them.
2.5-ton truck. That
Yeah,
would be
you want to
World
hear
War
some
II
stories?
stuff.
Yes. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, go to there. Go to Robert Howard. So, but yeah, these are veterans from World War II and beyond. And Ashley Barton of the National Children of 1812, her great uncle Norton is there, and she wanted to give him a shout out. He was shot down in Yugoslavia, and a little young Yugoslav boy who was acting as a Nazi guide met eyes with Norton. He didn't say anything, and that night the Nationals came around and rescued him. So that little boy. Anyway,
So
they got all kinds of stories like that.
There are a lot of veteran homes around the state. So what is a veteran home? Well, much like you have nursing homes, you know, when people become elderly, sometimes you have veterans homes when veterans become elderly. Because again, a lot of veterans do struggle later on in life with specific you know, medical conditions. So they do require a specific level of care. And homes like this make sure that that level of care is always at the highest it can be.
Yes. Now we have the Eagle Wings motorcycle.
If you say so.
Yeah, we talked about them ahead of time. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
and
all
sorry
that
to
other stuff
Jefferson
is
County.
still true. Absolutely.
There are
They are-
still over 300 members 5 minutes later.
Yes, and they're a family-oriented, non-religious, non-political association, respectful to each other's beliefs. Their goal is to enjoy the ride together with like-minded motorcyclists.
And they,
That
I love
harkening
that.
back to the 2-, 3-, 4-wheel. Here we go. So now we'll have we've got an American Legion. Commander Bryant is the junior vice commander for the American Legion Department of Alabama, riding in the Humvee there.
What the heck are those cute little cars?
I don't know. They're little golf carts full of scouts.
Pretty awesome. What is that? And we have, let's see, I want to make sure that this person is who they are supposed to be before I tell them. Okay, so we still have more American Legion. And this is the junior vice commander of the American Legion. Department of Alabama Sergeant at Arms, Freddie Jones III. Yep.
So the American Legion is one of these veteran service organizations that's open to, essentially, if you were in the military, you know, you can join the American Legion. So that's kind of one of the larger ways to be able to get involved is, you know, simply reach out to an American Legion. There's probably one in your town. If there's not any other veteran service organization, there's probably an American Legion nearby.
It's the biggest one in the world. Did you say that?
I did.
Yes. Okay, good. I'm sorry.
But they also have a very large auxiliary. You see some of their auxiliary members as well. Again, you know, if you were not a service member, then you can't join a service member organization, but you can join an auxiliary. And so you see these support groups have lots of support groups themselves.
That's right.
There are a lot of American Legion posts around the state here.
And everybody is in their own car.
Yeah.
The American Legion Post 171. There's the BW Howell unit. That's what that is. And they are, I believe they are the largest one in this area. But everybody turns out. You have never seen so much barbecue, so much laughing, cigars. I mean, everybody having a fantastic time. And it all starts with having been in the military at all, not even with each other necessarily.
And again, the American Legion is a nonprofit that they're all kind of focused on several key tenets, right? You've got to protect and serve the veterans themselves. You've got to educate the younger generations on, you know, what it is to be a veteran, what it is to be patriotic and have these democratic ideals. And then also these are the people that are then going back, affiliating with a veteran service organization, and then giving back to their own community through acts of service, you know, grounds cleaning or picking up a park or planting flagpoles or things like that. So these are where your volunteers come from when you go to the city park or things like that.
Yeah. I mean, no active service is small. And you wonder where the humility comes from. It comes from being part of a big, big group.
Yep. And when you can see, like you said, if you've got a tandem axle 35-foot trailer that says disaster relief on it, you are obviously in a position where you're doing exactly that. I think that's everyone's goal, is to get their own individual post to a place where they can give back to that extent that they can be mobile and help out where needed. That's all that these people that you see here today are trying to do, is help others.
Yeah. And if you love your freedom, thank a vet.
And then here we have a World War II veteran, Millard Carlisle.
The Sons of American Legion, the Graysville Post of American Legion. There are so many. They're kind of sprinkled in here, and they all tell you the same thing.
They do.
They strive to grow community involvement and the betterment of our youth, and just pass along what they learned, pass it forward.
And they do exactly that, because like I said, the American Legions, those are the people that are coming out and volunteering to, you know, place flags on grave sites, or be present to help in a scenario where there's disaster relief that's needed nearby. You know, that's your big volunteer core for a lot of community events that you see around. You just don't realize that they're, you know, part of a veteran or another service organization.
Today, okay, so we here. Oh my goodness, yes, here we have the Zamora Shrine. They, you know, you might have the Legion, you know, the Shriners, and you think about the hospitals and the children's hospitals. And they do so much more, but the main thing that they are known for, besides their children's hospitals and the free transport to and from, if you don't live in the city, is their funky cars. And what you also see, yep, they're revving their engines. There's the Leapin' Lena.
So the Zamora Shrine is an organization that specifically helps burned and crippled children. And they love being loud. This is what they're best known for, is participating in parades, honestly. That's their thing, is have people, give them a reason to come out to a parade. Most of their network of Shriners is it's a nonprofit, including transportation for and housing for families during treatment. If they don't live in the city, they'll get them to the hospital.
And there's our friend Joe DeSoyce, a fantastic photographer. He turns out, oh God, we have to stop and smile. Hey Joe, I'm so glad you're here.
So we've got Jules Pup Corner with veteran Crystal McKinney, Army retired, owner of Jules Pup Corner, which is offers emotional support canines to veterans. So you can find them on Facebook, but this is a group that tries to put emotional support dogs in the hands of veterans that need them most. More Corvettes, the Bama Joyriders Corvette Club, with Wayne McKinney as their director. The Bama Joyriders is based out of Bessemer, about 15 miles towards the sunset from here, and has a number of veterans in their group. They pride themselves on helping the community, and today they're out honoring all who have served, are serving, and our great nation. And then again, you'll see if you look close, a lot of these are identifying themselves or as having served in the military.
And some of them are doing what they normally can't get away with, which is honking the horn all the way through downtown Birmingham.
Yeah, right.
That was mean. He just did a flyby.
I saw it, yeah. So up next, we've got S&S Transport. The driver of the truck is Mark Marin. He's a U.S. Army 4-year veteran from 86 to 90. S&S Transport is a family-owned and has been in business since 1981. Throughout the years, they've employed numerous veterans and are partnered with REITs across America. S&S has various wrapped trucks and trailers to show appreciation to all military branches and first responders. So this is an example of one of their wrapped trucks that they use, just to honor veterans as they go around their business day to day.
Trail Life Troop, Alabama 2206. It's a Christ-centered, boy-focused mentoring program that engages boys in service and outdoor adventure to develop godly and courageous leaders. And part of that, of course, is patriotism. So what better way to show it than by being in the nation's original Veterans Day Parade? And there are several chapters throughout Alabama and the country, but this is ours in Chelsea, Alabama. Okay, so we are still seeing trail. No, yeah, we're still seeing Trail Life.
Yeah,
trips.
but here's some more vehicles that you would have seen during D-Day and immediately afterwards. You've got a Jeep. These trucks are called deuce and a half because they were designed to carry 2.5 tons. And you can see we've got a variant where there's actually that's not something you see very commonly. Yeah, where you've got a forward-mounted 30 caliber machine gun, and then there's a more standard version of like just a transport truck. But yeah, you don't see a lot of those. That 30 cal mounted one. Those are very unique trucks, but those would have been in service in and after World War II.
Oh, this is Veterans of Steel. These fellows are all from the steel industry, which of course is huge here in Alabama. And they come together. They have a lot of programs that can help the veterans with benefits, things they need within. You can find camaraderie within that very large industry.
Steel workers within a union within a union, specific to veterans.
It's true. Veterans of Steel.
One of my favorites is now coming up. That's the Southern Vintage Fire Apparatus Association, which is just a long way of saying old fire trucks that I like. You can hear them.
It's true. Yeah, several of our friends are there. But we'll say, there we are. So we have, it's called Southern Vintage Fire Apparatus Association. And yes, they procure and restore, repair, and sometimes they can help put back to use older fire trucks. But they also have days where the families can come, climb on the trucks, and actually, I said no because I had to go, but they can actually drive the hook and ladder truck that has the steering wheel on the back too. And they have a special house that you can go in and practice what you would do in a fire. What would you do if there's a kitchen fire? What would you do? It's especially for children to be able to know what to do at home.
Yeah, and some of their members are veterans as well, but their purpose is to preserve the history and traditions of the fire service through collection and preservation, like you said. And today they're honoring all of those who have served in the armed forces and our great nation.
Yes. So particularly want to say a shout out to Jerry Northington. Hello, Jerry from Karen Day, Gene Northington, and Bill Graham. They're the ones I know. And I want you to, there's Bill Graham driving right now. That one, the engine number 7.
With a can, I've literally never seen a water cannon on a truck like that.
Right, and pay attention to the hood ornaments too. One of them's a Mack truck.
I'm sure several of them are Macks, but it's not just that they're old trucks. They go out and find specific examples that need to be preserved, because something about it. Like, for example, you got an old hook and ladder where you can steer it from the back.
Yep. I can't tell who's driving that one. If you want to see some driving, you go online and see one of those.
See what they can do in a Walmart parking lot?
No, backing itself back into its garage when it's done. It's crazy.
Well, they're being followed up by the Elegant Models of Alabama Talent and Modeling Agency.
And those people that you see listed are Corey Todd, Anthony Maxwell Sr., Tamara Davis, Angela King, Michael King, and Daniel Byers are all veterans.
Oh, wow.
One of them is active duty, I believe. And they just want to step out and say hi. And here is Mount Hebron Baptist Church. They honor their veterans, Deacon Oliver Hall, Joshua Desmond, Felicia Bryant, several more, and they want to honor all of our veterans today and every day. This is Mount Hebron Baptist Church. We don't have time to say them all,
Yeah.
but happy Veterans Day. Hi. Reliatran LLC.
Non-emergency medical transportation business. They provide safe, reliable transportation for passengers who are in wheelchairs or walk independently or with cane, crutch, or walker. Carolina Burkett, the owner, is a wife and daughter of a Navy veterans.
She'll get you there. People don't realize what trouble it can be. Okay, so here we are with the Phillips Academy.
Phillips Academy World-Class Auxiliary is a combination of dancers and junior cheerleaders from pre-K to 6th grade. Dancers have made an appearance in the parade for the last 3 years, and this year we're actually welcoming their juniors. They are all very excited to march down the streets of Birmingham in the 77th annual parade.
Look at those little girls go. And they've been doing that for over a mile. Phillips. So we have FACE, Friends and Car Enthusiasts. It's a family-oriented club promoting the car hobby while raising money for local charities. And today, FACE has brought their enthusiasm to the streets of Birmingham for Veterans Day. Do you hear what I hear?
That is the Birmingham Fire Department, signifying that unfortunately we have come to the end of yet another parade.
Yeah. And they've got their hook and ladder truck. Look at it doing its dance across the street.
Yeah, there's the newer version.
Wow. Is that America or what? That's
Well,
Birmingham
that
Fire
once again
Rescue.
brings us to the conclusion of another parade. We had wonderful weather this year, finally.
Thank goodness. My goodness. I figure that ladder truck's probably just trying to get back to the station that's a block away. It's like, how did I get in this parade? I'm just trying to go home. What a fantastic shot.
Outstanding. We had a lot of participants this year, and the weather held out, so that's very good.
Yes. Well, I suppose we're supposed to say goodbye. We want to thank you very much for coming to see the original National Veterans Day Parade. Still going, never missed a year.
And we'll be back again next year, rain or shine.
Happy Veterans Day.